Oh, do I do this?
How you will.
All right.
See when Bill's ready. We'll
Yeah.
turn that.
No, yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Are you for our partner next Thursday?
I don't know.
Bill, you let us know when you're set.
Yeah, I just need a couple of seconds, so I have to break you here.
You're fine. We're good. Yeah, mine's on.
Yes. I turned it on. I just didn't hit record yet.
Okay, push record? Yeah, I got it.
Recording.
Mr. Chairman, I'm okay on our side.
Great, thank you, Bill.
Can't see them, but I guess that's okay. Hey,
Are they,
Bill, can we see them at all?
are they on the tiny TV?
Oh, you wanna see that?
Yeah,
Or just turn that screen so we could see?
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you need it, you don't have to turn it all the way.
I can't really see.
Yeah.
Can you hit okay on this meeting is being live streamed?
Hit okay.
No,
No, it's okay. There we go. Perfect.
You're good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, all right, before this.
Oh, we're so close. We're almost there.
Yeah, we're going out.
There we are.
Okay, now we're good.
Okay, thank you. Everyone, it's 6:32, so please, I want to commence the meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There is a recording device for the purpose of taking meeting minutes, as well as this meeting is being live streamed on YouTube. I will now be seeking approval of the meeting minutes.
Do we want to talk about that? There was an executive session before this.
Yes, thank you. There was an executive session that was held at 5:30 to discuss real estate, personnel, and legal matters.
And then I'd like to make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from June 10th, 2025.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Derhanessian and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to the treasurer's report. Is Peter there? Yes, I see him.
Is that mic on, Peter? It doesn't
Like
red.
that.
Is it red?
It is red.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Peter Barrs, treasurer here. Hopefully we've had an opportunity to take a look at my report. I'm going to just touch on a couple of the different topics that are included within the report. To begin, under the first bullet, the township cash balance at June 30, 25 is up over 1.1 million versus June 30th, 2024. We are currently sitting township-wide with 7.1 million. A year ago, we had 5.9 million. So you can see we're still continuing to be in very, very strong cash position. Two of the items that make up that increase, our EMS fund is up over $500,000, and our grant account is up 185,000. Delving into each one of the funds, the unadjusted net income for the 6 months was in the general fund specifically was $363,000. We had projected a $289,000 deficit at this point, which reflects adding those two numbers, a negative and a positive. We end up with a positive variance where we're actually over $650,000 higher than what we anticipated at this time. Which is really reflected on a bunch of different things that I'll touch on. The biggest part of the increase doesn't really have to do with the revenue. I mean, we're actually $17,000 below where we had anticipated being on the revenue side, but we're $670,000 under what we thought we would have spent by now. Two of those big pieces, G, you're familiar with these, are we haven't spent our grant monies, the Green Light Go and the DCNR grant expenses, which total about over $420,000. So that 670, 420 is really, it will be spent, as the money avails itself. Two of the highlights on the revenue side, we're actually 45,000 over, almost $46,000 over budget, and real estate tax collections. Mr. Plasha, if he's in the room, well done. And real estate tax transfers are $65,000 over where we anticipated being, which reflects the strong market value of the properties here in the township. Just jumping ahead into the trash fund. That's agenda item number 6. Our unadjusted net income for the 6 month was $728,000. We thought we were going to be about $624,000. So we're actually almost $105,000 over where we had thought in the trash fund. Two little items of note. There were no open decker payments in June. Okay, so we didn't receive a bill. Recently we have a check cut with this run. That's the June payment, and we will get July's payment or bill shortly. So we are really running close to break even there, which is what we anticipate in the trash fund. So that concludes my report.
Is there any questions from the board for Peter?
No.
Thank you, Peter. Then I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer report, pay all bills, and release relevant escrows.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Supervisor Darahanesian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to the finance reports. Our third-party auditor, Leitzel and Economides, evaluated our DCED CLGS-30 form that gets submitted that evaluates the financial performance of the township. And they had there's a summary within the packet, and their findings are that they are in line, that we have fairly represented our financial statement, and that they agree with all the major decisions that were made in terms of bookkeeping and accounting practices. So I'd like to make a motion to advertise this summary, the 2024 Township Financial Audit.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Supervisor Darahanesian. Is there discussion from the board on this? Or from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The second item is the tax collector audit. I think that is just the backup that was underneath of the financial statement that was represented by our third-party auditor. I don't think there's any action for us to take on that report, but it is included in the packet. Dr. Addison, am I correct there, or is there an element I'm missing to that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We're good, right?
Okay.
On Leitzel's tax collector.
Yeah. Yes, we're good.
We're good.
Perfect. Thank you. So on to taxes. During the month of June, there were 24 invoices collected for the 2025 taxes. The total tax collected for June was $23,103.33 and was remitted to the township in one installment on July 7th, 2025. And as of June 30th, 2025, 3,417 tax bills were collected out of the 3,577 for a 95.53% return rate. Mr. Plasha, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
He's not
He's not
here
here,
at the
so-
moment. He's running a little late.
Apologies. Well, I think there's nothing further to add. That's what's in his report. And we can move on to public safety, police.
Thank you. Chief McCarthy.
Members of the board, good evening, everyone.
During the month of June, the Bethel Township Police Department had 840 calls for service. They're broken down into 44 medical emergencies, 2 DUI arrests, 1 stolen vehicle, 25 alarms, 71 traffic stops resulting in 44 citations. There were 7 domestics, 13 crashes, 4 thefts, 3 fraud investigations, 5 criminal investigations, 410 building and development checks, 9 vacation checks, 13 suspicious vehicles and persons. And there were 3 municipal ordinance violations and then 186 miscellaneous smaller calls, if you will. PECO and other utilities companies have reported that there's been an increase in scams surrounding financial assistance with your utility bills, especially for seniors. Most have published that they will never ask for any personal information, nor will they ever ask for an instant payment over the phone or over the internet by an email. So obviously, we do not give any credit card information. Do not give them any of your personal identifying information, such as your date of birth, your social security information, your driver's number. Do not give any of that out. And the only other thing is obviously, be situationally aware this time of year, as we've just seen. You need to be weather aware also. So keep an eye on your surroundings. If you see something that does not look right, call 911 and let us go check it out and see if it's an issue. Thank you.
Thank you. So I am going to make a motion to ratify the appointment of Dylan Cairo as a police officer for Bethel Township at an hourly rate of $28, contingent upon a 1-year probationary period.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Derhinessian and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. Any discussion from the board? From the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then I'm going to make a motion to ratify the release of funds in the amount of $12,042.28 via check 1,039 payable to EF Johnson Company for the purchase of police radios. And Chief, if you would give us some context about that.
Several years ago, the county radio system started experiencing a lot of issues in that the frequency that the county has used over several years, as well as other area police departments and fire and EMS, has been subject to hacking, in that you can go buy a radio on the internet for $35 or $40 and be able to talk to the police directly because it was an unsecure frequency. But in addition, there's also been a lot of weather-related issues that have made communications have actual total blackouts of the system, where the police cannot talk to the communications, the dispatchers. We can't receive calls, the same on the fire and the EMS service. So several years ago, the county decided they were going to upgrade the county radio system for all 3 entities, the fire, the EMS, and the police. And I want to say that they approximately spent $50 million on upgrading the system. This portion that I'm asking you to approve, obviously, is for some of the radios. There is a buy-in on the municipality side in that the county is paying for most of the police car radios, and a good portion of the police officers' radios are portable radios for each officer. They're paying a large portion of that, but there is a township buy-in or municipality buy-in. The amount that I am asking to have approved for tonight is for our portion of the car radios that have already shipped from EF Johnson to the county, where they're being programmed and should be delivered back to the township within, I think, 60 to 90 days. And then we're going to have them installed in our cars. I believe the new system, if it is still on track, which I believe it is at this point in time, will go in sometime around late November, maybe early December. And we will switch to the new system. It is a 700 megahertz system. So it's a much higher frequency. It's less prone and it's encrypted. So they will not be able to hack into the system It is not subject to many of the weather issues that we have seen in the UHF frequency that we use now.
Great. Thank you so much.
I have two follow-up questions. So it's gonna have to get installed in the cars. Is that something we have to send out to have done? Or is it just an easy swap out or?
It should be somewhat of an easy swap out, but we will still have to have someone do it.
Okay,
I am trying to secure some bids for that.
Okay.
I don't have any idea. I mean, we have 9 police cars.
Right.
And we are obviously competing with every other police department and fire company and EMS in the entire county to have them installed. So I am working on some bids and trying to
Okay.
find out, get us a rock solid price. But I'm being told that it is not over the top, if you will.
your radios are not gonna be like discontinued before, like those are not gonna go out of service before your new ones all get.
No,
You're
oh,
gonna
no,
have
no,
enough
no,
time.
no. In fact, they will, there's a period of time, once the new system comes online, that they do what's called a simulcast, and that they will broadcast on the new one and broadcast on the old one at the same time, just to make sure everything's up and running. And then after a 30 or 60-day
And
period,
they shut it.
the UHF radios will then be put on a shelf somewhere.
And then my second question, is this are we going to be putting out any more money for any additional radio purchases? Or is this the only allotment we're receiving at this point?
Well, this is only a portion of our radios.
So we expect another.
So
chunk of
yes,
money
there
to
will be
expended
our
somewhere.
total buy-in originally, and this goes back about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
was budgeted for almost $50,000 for our buy-in.
That's what I thought it was.
The county has, the chiefs of police have been arguing with the county for about 2 years now, and they've gotten it down to where our individual buy-in, and it all goes by how many cars you have and how many officers you have, because each officer will have a portable, and obviously each police car will have a
Right.
radio in it.
Okay.
Our portion of the buy-in is down to a total of about 25,000. So this 12,000 is merely, yes, what is shipped already to the county and been received by the county. And then when the other portion ships and is received by the county, then we will get another bill from E.F. Johnson, which should be slightly more than this, obviously, because this is a little less than 12.5. So I imagine the other one will probably be 13,000 and change.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have some audience questions, Chuck.
Okay, thank you. I have one question, Chief. So the radios that are going in the car, these here, is there also an upfitting cost? Or is that something that you guys are installing in the vehicles?
There should be, we're going to look at the installation, but I am not sure if we will be able to do it in-house. I'm being told that there is some modifications to our consoles that we will have to purchase faceplates that match the radios that we are getting versus the ones we have now. So there is going to be what I hope to be a minimal cost. And then there will be some type of a labor cost, most likely, to have the one taken out and the other one wired into the system. Yes.
Sure. Okay.
I have a question. So, this price, this amount, 12,000, is just shy of double our budgeted PD communications for the year. So where are we pulling the rest of this money from a budgetary standpoint?
This money was actually budgeted for the past 2 years under new equipment, from my understanding.
Yeah, I think it was budgeted. I'm not sure, maybe we have to check with the accounting department. Maybe it's being pulled out of the wrong line item. Because I remember asking that question. We've been carrying it for a couple of years,
Yes.
back when Chief Egan was around.
Right. I just want to make sure that if we need to have a
Transfer.
contemporaneous budgetary motion to transfer funds, that we're doing that, because if we're pulling this line item out of communications, we're going to be over budget in the line item. So the question is, and maybe this is a question for Peter, where are we planning on pulling this $12,000 out of? And if we need to make a motion to move money, we should do that.
But
but we don't have one on the agenda tonight, so we'll have to do it later.
You can't move money in night.
Right, that's what yeah,
We're paying
right.
that, we're gonna pay that right now.
That this was underneath.
Right, so you're good here.
Yes, yep.
All right, you want to let Davey know?
Is it under new equipment?
Yes, it is, sir. Our new equipment was budgeted at 57,500 and is that what we have left?
Yeah, 44,385.
No, we have, no, you've got,
Yeah, but I think it's coming out. I'm trying to find it on our bills list, exactly where it's coming out.
Coming out of
we've
line
spent
item.
about, we've spent about 29,000 out of that line item so far, but the total costs I gather from is going to be about 25. So it's going to be close.
Yes.
Something's probably not right.
Someone's going to have to do the dollar and cent math and figure out if we're going to have to need to move some money from a different line item.
You said 29,000 came out of 410.600?
Yes, 28,754 through June.
That's the budgeted. I think the actual is
Is that the
13.
budgeted?
Yeah, I think the column to the left, 13,000.
13,000. Okay, so we still have some money left in there, but I just want to make sure we're taking it out of the right line item. Because I noticed there was a check number, but I don't know where the check number was drawn from.
Very good.
It's not on this month's bills. I'm not seeing it.
Oh.
Because it was
But the
on,
motion, the agenda has a check number.
yeah,
So I'm assuming there's a check somewhere.
yeah, they're,
But if it's not on the bills list, how's that work?
well, I think it's a ratification.
Right.
Yeah, this
Was
is
it
what
already
I polled you individually and we got 3 votes, so we made the payment because we had a deadline where we were gonna have
Okay, that's the
interest
missing part.
payments if we didn't get that done.
That's
So
the
we just have to
missing
look
part.
next month or whenever, get the amount for the next payment.
Check and make sure it was allocated out of the right fund, and if we need to take any remedial action, we will next month.
Yeah.
We'll clear it. We quit it.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Derhanessian, can you go through the resident questions, please?
It's not really a question, I guess I found
Yeah.
it. It's actually a comment. Delegate 1612 Wendy Way. I just want to say that tonight, when I was coming home from dropping a friend off at the airport, as I got right to the property lines right between Bircheye and Bethel, the storm clouds opened up. I literally couldn't see where I was going. I was scared out of my mind. And out of the side street came a police car lit up like a Christmas tree. And I followed him all the way to my street. So I just want to say thank you. That was the best thing I could have seen. So thank you.
Any other comments?
Thank you.
Questions? I think we're good.
Okay, I think there's a motion. I don't know if there's a second.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made by Supervisor Derhanessian and seconded by Supervisor Iacono. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to Bethel Hose Company number 1. Dr. Addison, my understanding is there's no report, and I don't know if the chief is there.
No, nobody's here.
All I do want to add is I know they at least made one call. They made one call to my home this past month. I had a pet escape. It's kind of embarrassing, but I do have some photos of Brett like 75 feet up on the hook and ladder. So police did a great job getting it organized, and the fire company came out and handled it. So I agree with Ms. Vance. Absolutely appreciate everything you guys do, big and small. So thank you very much. On to EMS. Supervisor Iacono.
Yes, so there were 36 total transports for June 2025. 23 of them were ALS and 13 of them were BLS calls. I will move into the emergency management report. There were no events of major injury or property damage. Our emergency management coordinator communicated the storm damage report from the 19th to the Delaware County Emergency Operations Center. Probably be another one tonight. And he was actively involved in planning the fireworks safety meeting and attended some trainings within the county. So that concludes the emergency management report. I will go into the highway report for June. The crew serviced several police cars and had them inspected, continue with ongoing storm repairs. We're out during storm events, cleaning roadways of fallen trees and debris. They will not remove any tree from the roadway that involves wires of any kind. That's for their safety and for not causing additional damage. So they'll wait for the utility company to come out. Ongoing grass cutting and trimming of township properties, helped with the e-recycling event, serviced equipment after storm events to be prepared for future usage, put out temporary stop signs and generators at the intersection was where power was lost during the storms. Brett's actually working on getting some pricing from Higgins, our signal company, to get an outlet put into the light at Falk and Naaman's Creek to try and install temporary generators when we have a power loss. That light seems to go out a lot. So we have some of the other lights that are able to handle the temporary generator, but that one is not. So probably next month, we might have some future expenditures on something like that. And the buildings and grounds report, they cleaned up the township properties of storm debris, repaired exhaust fan in the ladies' room in the administration office, repainted the lines in the parking lot around the township offices, cleaned out gutters of debris, and worked on the AC unit in the EMS building, installing a temporary unit until the new one is delivered. And unfortunately, Brett's not here tonight, but we did get a nice letter from a resident who lives in Belmont, and she wanted to express her gratitude for the appreciation for Jack King Park. She visits frequently with her granddaughter. She says it's a treasure, a well-maintained environment, offers a cool, serene setting where one can appreciate the beauty of nature. She extends her gratitude for the diligent efforts in maintaining the park throughout every season. So she just wanted to give a shout out to the township and the maintenance crews on the park. She really enjoys it. And we'll give Brett the shout out, and I'll chat with him later and let him know how much she appreciated it. And that concludes the facilities and maintenance reports.
Thank you. Onto the board reports, Parks and Recreation. So we just concluded the fireworks event, which I think we try to take account of the number of individuals. Is roughly 1,300 folks showed up via car. We estimate maybe another 100 or so folks showed up walking over, possibly more than that. Folks that were there was a little bit of rain, but it ended up being, I think, another great event. So again, a big thank you to the Parks and Rec staff and the volunteers to make that happen. They are now busy organizing for the composting class, which is scheduled for July 21st at 6 o'clock, as well as the corn boil coming up. So getting all the vendors in line with certificates of insurance for that event on August 24th. One key item that was discussed at last month's meeting was the discussion of having the night out the Phillies. Unfortunately, that board did not feel that they were prepared to administrate that event. I know that's a disappointment to everybody. I hope that we can reorganize the Parks and Rec board in the future and be able to hold that event and other events. But I think that board was just concerned that they would be able to execute that without a hitch. So sorry, and hopefully we can look towards 2026. There was a discussion on the sponsorships that have been collected so far for our events, and so that's listed in the Parks and Rec minutes. And then another shout out to the Highway and Maintenance Department. They did go back and correct and improve some of the installation at the Songbird Garden at Atkinson Park, and it looks a whole lot better. They did a great job. So thanks again to Brett and company for making that happen. And I'll move into the items that we have on the agenda. So the first one is I'd like to make a motion to approve the release of funds for movie night in an amount not to exceed $1,553.
Second.
So motion made and seconded by Supervisor Derhinessian. This is the funds for the balance of the movie rental fee, the inflatable screen, and then snacks for the event. Is there any discussion from the board on this item? Is there any discussion from the public on this item? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Subsequent to that is the motion to ratify the release of funds to premiere outdoor movies in an amount $447 for an outdoor theater system and on-site technician for the township's movie night event. So this was something that was pulled by Mr. Madron prior to our meeting because we had to submit a down payment in order to reserve the equipment for the scheduled night. So this is in conjunction with the movie night, but it's essentially the down payment for the equipment that we're renting. So I'm making the motion, looking for a second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Supervisor Derhinessian. Is there any discussion from the board on this item?
No.
From the public? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Similarly, this third item is a motion to ratify the release of funds to Vecchio Entertainment Group in an amount not to exceed $1,500 for DJ services and support related to the township's firework event. Obviously, this happened last week. Again, Mr. Madron polled the board to get a majority to approve the release of this funds. We just had some coordination effort in trying to get a DJ in place for that event and felt we had to go to a new service to make sure that we had that service provided for the fireworks. And again, this was already voted on as a majority by the board. So that's my motion.
Second.
And seconded by Supervisor Derhinessian. Is there discussion on this item by the board?
My
Yeah.
only comment is that I think, I know this was we had to put this together kind of last minute, but for next year, we should be looking at, just getting a couple other prices to see if it's a competitive price.
I did.
We have to.
It was,
Yeah,
yeah, it
okay,
was
you did have
right
that.
in the
Okay.
same.
Well, the fireworks budget for this year was 10,200, which is what we approved last month. So this is an unbudgeted expense. And I think I'm hearing a theme of majority decisions being made outside of the public meeting. So, I think that this was, something that should have been considered and planned by the Parks and Rec Board well beforehand and not done at the 11th hour, especially over budget.
Yeah, I can answer some of that. So there are sponsorships that were collected by the Parks and Rec Board, I think so far.
Which are where?
You can
Where are
see
the
them in the,
funds?
they're in the part, you can see what this, do you mean where can you see it?
Did
or
we get the
where?
checks?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in donations is the line item in the,
Okay, so
in the,
my point is though, if we're spending $11,000 for the fireworks, the
Mhm.
budget needs to reflect that we've spent $11,000, not 10.2, and then we've got expenses somewhere else. So the agenda should have reflected a budgetary transfer of that money into 454,009 so that the budget is balanced.
That's a good point, Supervisor Davey. Yeah, we can make that edit. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the money, I think we've collected, and I would say it's close to $3,500, I think, from sponsors so far this year. And as far as the timing of it, the Parks and Rec Board did have a plan in place that fell through very late, and it was kind of an unforeseen circumstance. And it's always my desire to have that come out in the normal course of things. It wasn't something that was budgeted for fireworks before. In fact, every year that we've had DJ services at fireworks, it's been a gift from a resident, and it just wasn't a possibility this particular time. But you're correct. Moving forward, we'll get that budgeted and put into the agenda appropriately. Is there any other questions from the board on this item? How about from the public?
No.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, and the last item, and this is somewhat partially why the night the Phillies wasn't going to work, I think. Felly McMahon, who was she was the secretary of the Parks and Rec Board, but when Ray stepped down as vice chair, she was really carrying a lot of the effort, and she has submitted her resignation from the Parks and Rec Board for personal reasons, as well as she was the co-chair of Birdtown and V-City. So I think with that going on, it was a lot for the rest of the board to try to take on. So I'm making a motion to accept the resignation of Kelly McMahon that's included in the packet from the Parks and Rec Board, as well as Birdtown and V-City.
Second.
Motion made.
Oh,
Oh, I have a couple questions here.
Okay, please.
So we have no chair,
Correct.
Parks and Rec Board. We have no vice chair of the Parks and Rec Board. We have no
Correct.
secretary now of the Parks and Rec Board.
Correct.
So how's that gonna work?
So the way it's currently, and Mike Madron, I know I reached out to you on the best way to handle this, but there is still a board of 6 volunteers. Well, actually 7, because Ray is still part of that, although he's not the chair. And they're still working through some of the process of holding the events. But for the purposes of going through the meeting, I've been administrating the Parks and Rec meeting. Supervisor Darrenessian has been there to offer her support, as well as she's been helping with the minutes. So, Mike, is there any context that you can give?
Yeah, I guess,
better?
when you're talking about officerships, officer positions on the board being vacant, but still having the board full. So you really need someone to administer the meeting, and when there's vacancies in officers and there's nobody stepping up to fill those vacancies, you sort of fill them on a meeting by meeting basis. That's kind of what's happening here with Chuck just sort of running people through an agenda. So it's suboptimal probably, but it's still,
It's not sustainable, in my opinion. I mean,
sustainable, probably not.
unfortunately, I mean, maybe, we're gonna assume post the position now that Felly's no longer on the board. And then also for like Birdtown B City, is there still an active committee for that at this point?
I mean,
Yes.
He was co-chair, right? So
Okay.
there's still the other, it's Saturday.
So that's still going, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I have notified the Parks and Rec Board that if they're unable to fill those positions, that the Board of Supervisors is going to have to take action to potentially do something differently. Because if we can't, I felt like from a timing standpoint, we can't make that change while we're still trying to host events. So I think my position was to help them execute the events that were already scheduled that our residents look forward to.
sure.
But it's certainly not correct. It's not sustainable. It's not really the way I want to be doing it. We're not voting members. We're sitting there trying to offer up the agenda for them to try to decide on functions. But when it comes down to coordinating with the township office and with the insurance company to get vendors on board, they needed help to execute that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to get through this year's events and then revisiting.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is not the forum and it's not quite on the agenda here. I know that there has been discussion in the past about the function of planning the recreation events happening through the township office. And I think there's some challenge to that because there's so many other activities required from the township office, but that's certainly something we're going to have to investigate if this board isn't able to course correct. So I made the motion, looking for a second on that. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Supervisor Darrenessian, you did second that. Is there any other questions from the board? From the public? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to the zoning hearing board.
Oh, boy. Shoot, hold on one second. Okay, so the Bethel Township Zoning Hearing Board report for June 2025. The board had one item on the agenda, 2025-07, an application for a 5-foot rear and side yard black aluminum fence. This request was granted. The board's next meeting will be held on Wednesday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. At this time, the board will be considering the following variance requests. 2025-08, it's an application proposing to construct an addition to the side of the existing dwelling. However, being a corner lot, it must meet front yard setbacks. The applicant is seeking relief from section 602-1-3 and is requesting a setback of 54 feet, 4 inches for a portion of the proposed addition. And then the second one is 2025-09. It's an application seeking relief from section 805-1-F in order to construct a side yard deck and patio. The applicant is requesting less the required minimum 10-foot side yard setback. And that was submitted by Gary Lanahan, who I don't think is here. So that concludes the zoning board report.
Thank you. On to the planning commission.
So the planning commission met to discuss a revised sketch plan for 26 single-family homes on 20 acres of the Silvestri Mushroom Farm site. Planning commission reviewed and provided comments for the revised sketch plan for now 26 proposed single-family home subdivision on the 20-acre parcel. Lou, anything you want to add to that?
No, that's about it.
Alrighty. Concludes planning commission report.
Thank you. Supervisor Iacono, could you go through the sewer authority?
Sure. So the sewer authority is completed the dedication work for Foxfield. Up here. The developer is also moving forward with dedication of the sanitary sewer on Creekside Run. For Belmont Phase 3, the developer is ready to proceed with the developer and security agreements. The correct security amount is being finalized. Piles Road Pump Station upgrade, the final design is underway. Due to long equipment procurement and lead times, they're recommending bidding in 2 phases. A procurement in the spring, followed by bidding in the fall. Pump station generators, the authority received a grant to install new or replace 4 generators at Green Glen, Northbrook, Scotts Glen, and Lumen Circle. Again, due to procurement times, they're looking to bid in 2 phases, spring of 2025. Procurement and installation in summer of 2025. Belmont Phase 3, board discussed sewage flow analysis for the apartment buildings. And I think,
Something weird happened with that report.
oh, there's like a duplicate.
yeah.
It sounded like last month's
know.
report as I was reading it, but, yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
the new report is fairly similar. Donna's here. Did I, looks like we got some mix up,
Something
but
happened.
You're good.
Good.
That was kind of what was just going on.
Yeah.
It's not really anything that we're.
okay, sounds good. That concludes the sewer authority report.
Thank you.
From my phone.
On to education, Supervisor Davy.
Thank you. Garden Valley School District sent out its annual tax bill to residents and for the first time is offering a secure electronic payment option through Municipay. Residents can pay their bill online or using the QR code on their bills. Payment methods accepted include Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, eCheck, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay. Service fee of 2.75% of the transaction amount with a $2 minimum will be applied to all debit and credit card payments. The school district adopted its 2025-2026 budget, which includes a 2.5% tax increase for the 2025-26 fiscal year. Primary reasons for the increase include mandated expenditures in special education, mandated employee costs under Act 71 and 126, and alignment with PA standards and state assessments. There were also increases to personnel costs, contractual wage increases, and employment benefits, as well as substantial real estate tax challenges. The school district is reporting a decline in its assessment base. Commercial tax appeals have driven down the district's total assessment, and the school district has less space for large-scale tax additions. So that is reflected in the bills that everyone either has or will be getting shortly. The Pennington Fields and Fieldhouse projects costs do not affect the operating budget and did not play a role in the tax increase. Also, the Garden Valley High School wanted to let us know that the scholarship committee selected Krista Matthew and Ashlyn Timmons as this year's recipients of the Bethel Township Scholarship Awards on the annual senior night. We received 2, or at least I saw 1. I thought there was 2, but a nice thank you note from Ashlyn, who is going to put her scholarship toward her start at the University of Tennessee in the fall, where she plans to study finance. That's all I have for Garnet Valley, but I believe we have an update for our junior supervisor.
All right. So it is the middle of July, so there's not a ton going on with the school stuff, but you can go back and,
Yes,
yeah, just.
she's good. She's pro now.
In June, we had our graduation, which I mentioned at the previous meeting. And then they took their week-long trip to Ocean City, Maryland, which is a tradition that we've been doing for years, except next year it might look a little different with talk about a Bahamas trip. And then the Garnet Valley School District updated their website, which is actually super easy to use now. Things are much more organized, and like there's like a search like AI bot thing that makes it way easier to find things. So that was really nice. So some pictures from graduation and then a screenshot of the new website, which does include like lots of like news updates. So there's a lot of information readily available there. For July, obviously you guys know about the fireworks that happened. And again, with the new website, the summer work is right there and it's really easy to find. So because school is not in session, the only schoolwork that we have to think about is our summer work. So for high schoolers, it's mostly AP classes and then some other English work is the main ones. But for elementary school, they all have summer reading, I think. And then construction has continued around Garnet Valley for like Pennington Project and all that stuff. So Pennington Project, the school sent out an email talking about how the Smith Bridge Road driveway will be closed and will open July 14th. There's some pictures there of just the models, the mock-ups that they did when planning the project. And then here are some picture updates of what the school is looking like. And on our next slide, we have some drone footage. Is it starting or no? Oh,
No, it's okay. We're here.
we got it. Okay. So it just shows like what it looks like.
Go back.
No, like, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. We didn't need to watch the full minute, but you know, get the general idea. There's a lot happening there and I'm very curious to go back to school and see what it looks like then. But other than that, I don't know how long you want to watch the video.
I mean, it's cool, whatever.
Yeah.
I have a question
Yeah.
about it, and I probably should just look it up. Is there gonna be additional parking near the like classroom part, like where Pennington School is now?
I don't know if they're gonna make parking now, but so what it was before was that there was parking like kind of available, but it wasn't part of like the school issued one. And since the Pennington project has been happening, they completely shut down that part. I have no idea if they're planning on reopening that or not.
Just
I think
curious.
we could look at the website for that,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Cool.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, on to the library report, Supervisor Davey.
On April 11th, the library sustained significant damage from a severe storm, which brought heavy winds and high rains. The library is preparing for a Keystone Grant application to support a full roof replacement and will provide additional information as that develops. In the meantime, thanks to insurance funds they received, they've begun doing interior repair work, and will continue doing that this month. I don't have any information as to upcoming July events other than a new free yoga program beginning Tuesday, July 15th at 9:30, but all of the library events are available on colelibrary.org. That's all I have.
Thank you. On to the manager's report, Dr. Addison. And if I remember correctly, today is your birthday as well, right?
That's right.
And that's why the storm came apparently and knocked the power out.
Yes.
Dr. Addison, how long have you been with the township? Since 2018?
2018, correct.
Yeah. I mean, you do a ton for us to keep everything going. So happy birthday, and we appreciate everything you do, man.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a great place. I'm excited to be here. I'd like to start by recognizing the outstanding work of our fire department. Unfortunately, I don't see them here. Police department, our highway department during the power outage in mid-June, if everybody recalls that, several houses were out for 3-4 days at a time. Their quick action, dedication, and ongoing efforts helped keep our residents safe and supported our local businesses during challenging situations. We're proud to have such a committed team serving our community. Again, we also wanted to give them another well-deserved shout out for this year's help with the annual July 3rd fireworks event. As always, the feedback from residents was extremely positive, with many noting how well organized, enjoyable the event was. Their coordination and the presence helped make it another successful night for Bethel Township residents. I'd like to also add, I guess, for Delaware, New Jersey, and Maryland, because they seem to be the registration plates we've seen, right, Chief? As we look forward and ahead to our next community event, the annual Cornboil and Movie Night, we want to take the moment to thank our Board of Supervisors, our Township Engineer, Matt Hootman, our Township Solicitor, Michael Madgen, for being so accessible and supportive to our office staff. I can't share with our community how wonderful it is to have everybody on board and connecting and communicating with us effectively. Their availability behind the scenes helps everything run smoothly and ensures our events continue to reflect strong community spirit, which we are becoming known for. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. There is no old business, so on to new business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you recall, we did have this item on the agenda last month, but our township engineer did a little more digging to try and get some more competitive pricing. Unfortunately, the pricing that we had was the best, so we're gonna make a motion to approve a zone striping for waterborne and hot thermoplastic pavement markings at the bid locations in an amount not to exceed $14,232. Zone striping is CoStar certified. They also will provide traffic control as part of their price. The other entities did not provide traffic control. The only caveat I would say to this is that there is a Goodley Road is included in this bid. There is a water line leak on Goodley Road at the moment. I'm not sure when that's going to get replaced and how long the restoration is going to take. So the price may go down if we can't get Goodley Road done this year. But that's my motion.
Thank you. I'll second the motion. So motion made by Supervisor Kono and seconded by myself. Is there any discussion from the board on this one?
No.
From the public? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, so the next two items are both insurance related, and I'll start with the discussion, I guess, part of it first. So we have a volunteer accident policy that expires in August of 2025. So we're looking to renew that policy for 1 year. This would be protection for the volunteers that help serve the township during our events or anything from Parks and Rec events to recycling or paper shredding or any of those types of activities. Is there any discussion from the board about this before I make a motion? Any discussion on this from the public?
No.
Okay, with that, I make a motion to approve the volunteer accident insurance policy with Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services, effective August 1, 2025 through August 1, 2026, subject to the solicitor's review.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Supervisor Derehyanesian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Similarly, there's a policy to ensure the township against crime within the township itself, specifically like financial crimes, either whether it be fraud or embezzlement or things like that. Again, this is a renewal of an existing insurance activity. I know Supervisor Iacono, you kind of mentioned before, what is the rate increase? And that's not available yet because the policy from Gallagher was a longer term. So that's why this would be subject to solicitor's review. If something's out of line, then I guess we'll be pulling that back. But in an effort to get it on the agenda prior to the insurance expiring, we wanted to take action now to get it in our hands and get it into Mr. Madgen's hands for review. Is there further discussion on this particular topic from the board?
No.
From the public?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you. Then I make a motion to approve the renewal of a one-year crime policy with Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services effective August 10, 2025 through August 10, 2026, subject to the solicitor's review.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Supervisor Derhinessian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to announcements.
So we've talked about this a couple times, Bethel Township.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do you want to?
So,
Yeah.
do you want to open up? I'm sorry. Actually. I was waiting for the opportunity to other new business.
Oh, okay.
So just a question, for the supervisors. As I travel down Route 322, I know that the widening of the road is not going to affect Bethel immediately. We're going from phase 2 to phase 3, so it's now Chichester. But if you look at what's happening at Cherry Tree Road, there's gonna be some major changes that could affect the traffic in our area. Would it be possible at a future meeting that representative possibly of PennDOT or another representative to tell us in detail as to what's occurring and what the effect may have on our traffic patterns?
We can inquire if they'll come. I know we have, and I'm guessing we could post it. We have a copy of the plan of the whole corridor. We can probably post it. We've been having some discussions with them over the work in our portion because we're concerned about traffic and our intersections, and we're trying to work with them. But it's a tough, slow going process. But we can inquire to see if they're able to come in and have a discussion.
Yeah, I get the impression that Bell Road with that bridge is gonna be some significant reconstruction there, which.
Yeah, I think that's a replacement.
How they're gonna shut that down, or, so it'd be nice to know how that's gonna happen and what the major effects are to the whole community here.
I did see some traffic counters out on my way home today on Garnet Mine, and I'm not sure right at that interchange where 322 is. So they're actively doing studies and still trying to do updates and things like that for the work in our corridor.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? No. Okay. So,
Last year, this year, I'm asking you comments.
Do you have any comments about the report?
About traffic, I do not.
No, not the traffic.
The
You made it here, so I guess it was okay.
school bills are out, and we're getting payments, the school district's getting payments. They did add an online, payment option this year. We'll see how that goes. It might be something that maybe we would entertain at that point. Let's see how it goes over the summer. That's it.
thank you.
We don't in-house collection hours here. That's on the tax bill hours.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to announcements. So the corn boil will be held on Sunday, August 24th, 2025 at Bethel Springs Elementary School. There's a rain date of Sunday, August 31st. And then before that, Bethel Township Parks and Rec and Pennsylvania Resources Council are hosting a free backyard composting educational event on Monday, July 21st from 6 to 7 p.m. That will be here in this building. It's on their social media accounts and you can register there for the events. That's it on announcements.
Thank you, Supervisor Derhinessian. Is there any other comments from the public?
Yeah, we have a question.
When's movie night? What's the date of that?
It's September 13th. September 13th. Mhm.
The same day as our paper shredding event. It's the same day as our paper shredding and drug take back event. 2 for 1 on that day.
Is there any other comment from the residents?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Being adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess.
Next.